Hello everyone, this is Enlightened Renegade here, making another video tonight. I already made one on my setup tour, my Discord announcement. So what's going to go on now is I'm going to make a video on a trending topic, or recently trending, on the whole PewDiePie and the N-word situation. So my whole stance on this, which is quite an unpopular stance I found, is that it's, it's, it's that I don't give a fuck. He can say whatever he wants, and no one should be able to judge him for that. It's this thing called freedom of speech, and I presume he lives in America, which he will be protected by the First Amendment of freedom of speech and freedom of expression. If you do not believe me, look it up. It's the First Amendment. It shouldn't be that hard to find. And something I should note is, yes, he used it in a derogatory way, and it was probably meant to, call someone on their bullshit, or meant to direct it at someone, but that does not mean that it is instantly a bad or an illegal thing, I should say. Yes, I do not agree with the way he used it, but it's still, he legally, and honestly he should be able to, he legally can, and if I were to say the term, and I'm not going to on video because that would just make me look bad and I would get called out for it, because apparently freedom of speech doesn't exist these days. I don't want to use the term, so I'm not going to. But anyways, he should be able to use the term without someone judging him, and that's my honest opinion on that. Say if a lot of people, you remember Vine, all of you remember that shithole. So, quite frequently people would use the term there, not quite the same term, but a modified version that is considered less offensive, in the eyes of a lot of people. It's pretty stupid, I gotta be honest, but there was a lot of racism in those Vines too, like King Batch, for example, Jerry Perp Drank. They were very, very large on Vine. What did they base their Vines off of? Race baiting, because that's a topic we all know and love. It's really fun. Race baiting gets you a lot of views. Just ask Mike, except for it kind of fucking backfired on their asses. Just ask NTV. Oh wait, backfired on them too. I can't give any good examples, but it it does bring in a lot of views. That is true. That much is true. If you race bait, you are guaranteed quite a few views. My hat is unsnapping, that's why I'm reaching back there. But anyways, yes. So there were. This is not. I don't say this to like completely justify what he did, but he can do it, and he shouldn't be censored for it, and he shouldn't be. He can be criticized for it. That much is fair. And I do not think that he should have per se used the word, but he can if he wants to, and I don't have a problem with it. I'm not offended by it. I know tons of black people who aren't offended by it. I have a fair amount of friends who are African American, and they even themselves told me that it doesn't matter. They've given me a pass to use the term around them. I don't use it still. I just don't see a reason to, unless if it's for comedic effect, in which case it's funny, but in most cases it's just generally seen as inappropriate or rude, so I don't use the term. And if you use the term, just fine. I'm not gonna censor you for it. You can comment down whatever you want. As long as you're not doxing me, you'll be just fine, and your comment will stay up. You can criticize me. I don't give a shit. But anyways, I'm getting off track. What I'm trying to say is that Pews can be criticized for this. I'm not saying he is beyond criticism. Nobody's beyond criticism. But what I am saying is that he should be able to say that. And there's a serious problem with people these days, especially because they think that they're special snowflakes, and that if they get offended or triggered, I know that's a meme word these days, but it's true. If they get offended, oh man, the end of the fucking world, when it's really not. They should be able to, people should be able to say what they want. I've made this argument multiple times that, you know, I think one of the dumbest things people do is resort to violence. If you resort to violence, that just proves you have no facts or evidence to back up your argument. Like the Nazi punching that happened in Seattle recently. There was a guy who was wearing a swastika on his arm. I'm not doubting that he was a Nazi. What I am saying is that he was a Nazi. You should have been able to disprove his ideologies with facts. And if he wasn't going to listen to you, fuck him. It's his opinion. He can have it. Legally, he can have it. His own opinion. Everyone can have their own opinion about anything. That is protected under the First Amendment. And personally, as someone who is German, and I do speak a fair amount of German, my German grade doesn't reflect that, but still, I'm not offended by Nazi jokes. People call me a Nazi. Doesn't mean I am one. I mean, if you look at Antifa and, you know, the left in general, they tend to call people Nazis for no reason. Just because they have a slightly differing opinion, or they don't call themselves a feminist, but egalitarian, or humanist. Or just a decent fucking human being. So, anyways, once again, getting off track, I should end this on the note of saying, what, TLDW, what Pews did wasn't exactly perfect, but he can do it. He did not need to apologize. And that is my honest opinion. I don't mind that he did apologize. I understand that it's a smart decision for him to apologize. Because he was getting a lot of flack for it. Thank you, John Scarce, you fuckboy. And, Daniel Keem, too. Those fuckers blew this shit way out of proportion. It's a word. If it offends someone, it's their problem. You know, I'm not going to deny that the word is generally based in racism. That does not mean that it is a word that you shouldn't use. You can use it if you want. Freedom of speech. And that is protected. But if you are... My only problem is when you are continually using a word that you know will offend someone to their face. Like, you know, say if I tell my friend who is Muslim, you know, I make a bunch of terrorist jokes at him. That's rude. But that's not, you know, that's not illegal or anything like that. It's rude, but, you know, my friend is cool with it, you know. We make terrorist jokes. We play Cards Against Humanity a lot. And basically, when he's Tsar, if you pick a terrorist card, you win. Once again, getting off track. TLDW again. What Pews said wasn't perfect, but he still, and I understand why he apologized, but he did not need to apologize. So, thank you all so much.